Paraphyletic members of the order Lepidoptera, reminisce fondly on your pupa days, pollinate some fragrant moonflowers, and Mayday! Mayday! I'm going down in flames!
Too young. Too young.
Too young to talk Tull to you. Welcome back. I am Omen.
I am Nick McGill.
Together we are Feckless Momes.
And we are going to talk Tull to me in the same room.
What?
Surprise! Omen is back upstate.
Hey! Just for a second, for reasons having to do with a cat, and that's all I'll say about that.
Go see a gentleman about a horse and a lady about a cat, actually.
Yeah. But here we are in the Alpha Studio of Feckless Momes.
That's right.
Getting ready to talk Tull to you about another song off of the album Heavy Horses. But before that, Nick.
Before that.
Shall we play a little round of What Are You Drinking?
Pass the cup of crimson wonder.
We are drinking the same thing today.
Out of the same glass. Two straws.
Two silly straws twirled around each other. And there's one long strand of spaghetti on our plate that we will slowly eat toward one another. In anticipation of your and your wife's arrival,
Yeah.
I brewed up some decaf iced coffee, which is just 8 cups of water and 12 cups of coffee to give it that kefiga.
This is decaffeinated.
But it's decaffeinated. Yeah.
I've been asleep for the last 5 minutes and didn't know it.
And it is Counterculture Coffee's slow motion decaf with my very own home ground almond milk. That's the word I was looking for.
You made the almond milk?
I made the almond milk, yeah.
You milked the little almonds?
I did. It was exhausting.
Yeah,
I got up
imagine.
at 4. I had 4 this morning.
Incredible. Herded them in from their summer meadows.
They go far out to pasture in the warm months, so I had to get them in here.
They sure do. So, Nick, with that little tidbit out of the way, do we have any other business to attend to before we jump into today's song?
We do not. We're pretty well caught up. We're good. We're caught up on correspondence and quotes and info, so we can jump right in. Number 4 off of side A. It is Moths.
Moths.
Let's fly right in, I guess. Let's fly into it.
Let's blunder straight toward this song.
Yeah, with no concern for our safety.
Yeah. Ultimately, it may lead to our destruction.
I mean, we've been slowly getting there this whole time. So
let's have a listen.
Okay.
Hey, Nick.
Omen.
Moths.
I got mesmerized by the flame.
Moths, moths, moths. Do you have any insect fears that I'm not aware of?
It's not a fear, but there's like a lizard brain reaction for me when I see like masses of ants.
Okay,
like
sure.
roiling ants, like it.
Yeah.
Bleh.
I know some people are actively afraid of moths.
I've heard that too, yeah.
For any of our listeners who may be suffering from such an affliction.
Leptophobia?
Oh.
Probably,
yeah. I would say just skip this one, because we're going to be talking about moths.
Yeah, or maybe like exposure therapy.
Maybe expose yourself to some moths.
To some moths.
And then go to therapy.
And then we get like half of what you pay your therapist.
Yeah.
Because we're doing your service.
All of that makes sense.
Right.
Nick.
Omen.
This is a song that is 3.5 minutes long.
Correct. Factual.
And it is also a song that you are obsessed with.
I wouldn't say obsessed.
No, methinks the lady doth protest too much. You're very fond of this song.
I love this song, though. It is just so gorgeous. It's just so beautiful.
Yeah. Do you want to tell me how you feel about it?
Well,
before we dive into the musical aspect of it?
It's probably has a lot to do with the strings.
Yeah, definitely.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, we know my affinity for Dee's strings.
Yeah.
So I love the strings in this, and it's just so pleasant and lilting. It's just such a nice kind of flowy song compared to, what did we do before this?
The long one. No Lullaby.
Yeah, compared to No Lullaby and Journeyman, you know.
We haven't done Journeyman.
But that's next.
Oh,
That's what
yeah,
I'm saying.
right.
It's sandwiched in between. It's such a nice respite.
Yeah. In terms of the context of the album, it's a bit of a repose, especially for where we're going to with the second part of the album,
Sure.
where it gets quite, not heavy, but a bit darker. This is a moment of lightness in the album.
Yeah. It's just beautiful. I love the way he sings in this, even though it's that rough, like really gruff sound. But I think it juxtaposes so well with how gorgeous the music is that it's kind of the harsh reality of life interposed with the beauty of life.
That's interesting. I think I think you have just articulated an important theme of the song and indeed the album that is worth remembering as we talk about the lyrics and the music.
And move on into Stormwatch.
And we move on into Stormwatch.
Yeah. If we are to take these three of the folk trio together as that progression or regression or degression, I guess, none of those are things. If we are to see that kind of downward spiral of the environment being abused and maybe possibly fighting back. I don't know.
Yeah. So let's talk about the music in this song.
Yes.
There's something so fascinating about this that I really love. Okay, so the song it's simpler in a lot of ways than a lot of the other tracks off of this album and a lot of Tull in general. This is in 4/4. Maybe it's 2/4 or 2/2. It's in some kind of a very even time signature.
Okay.
And we have that given to us right in the top. And saying that, there may be a couple of anomalous measures of a short measure or a long measure here or there as we have the transitions, but
it's late 70s Tull. It will have anomalous things.
But for the most part, it's got a really steady, even beat. And we have a little drum beat right at the top, which is literally just 4 on the floor. This quiet little dum.
Just the little dum. It's got to be the bass pedal, right?
I'm not sure. Yeah, it could be that.
It almost sounds like a metronome. Honestly, it sounds.
My first
like
thought was whoops! Someone forgot to turn off the click track.
I know.
But no, it's kind of nice because it's like it reminds one of a heartbeat. Although if your heartbeat sounds like that, go see your physician immediately.
Switch from decaf to a little caffeinated, I think.
But it has that sense. It gives you this really subtle, steady pulse. Mm-hmm. We've been talking on this whole album about how different it is from Too Old to Rock and Roll.
Sure.
In the sense that a lot of the songs on this album just come out of the gate steaming, chomping at the bit, all instruments blazing. Yeah. This is going back to that or revisiting that build.
That's a good point. I didn't catch that. I didn't recognize that, probably because we're so used to hearing that slow work in that it wasn't so shocking to me. It kind of felt like going back to what we were used to.
Well,
but yeah, I mean, it is a bit shocking in here,
and it's so well done. So we have out of the gate we have that dum 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 dum, and then we have Ian's acoustic guitar, which he's just.
That helps with the beauty of this song. It's not just the strings. It's really the acoustic is just gorgeous in this.
If playing the guitar was a crime, he would be going away for a long time because of this track.
Yeah.
Long time. Multiple life sentences.
Yeah, he is actually on the run right now.
He is.
The renegade.
And then we have Ian's doubled voice.
Yes, I didn't notice that. I forgot about that, yeah.
As you pointed out, at least one of the tracks is like very, very raspy.
Yeah.
It's almost channeling later Tom Waits.
Yes, yeah, the gargling hot asphalt Tom Waits.
The lighted window opens.
No, I said to you while we were listening to it, a callback to last week's, how Ian was saying that he had a bad head cold for the recording of Heavy Horses. I said, like, I would be very surprised if he didn't have some level of that head cold when he was recording this.
Yeah, maybe seasonal allergies.
Yeah, if he was building up into that head cold or just recovering from it.
Yeah.
It's a very, very gruff. It's beyond that Jack and the Green voice that I
It is. It sounds a bit more medically concerning in a way.
Right, yeah.
So then right after the repeat of Suicidal came, we have the full drum kit come in.
Yeah.
And then that keeps going with us for the rest of the song.
Oh, suicidal came and the new breeze chatted.
The flute comes in at some point around there.
I think so, yeah.
And the long night awakened.
And the flute, again, this is such a simple, elegant song. The flute, instead of doing all kinds of exciting things, really just repeats the counterpoint of the melody.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's another instance of it's not picking up the main theme and rolling with it. It's more accents.
Accentuating it.
Yeah.
As does Martin's guitar.
Yeah.
Which-
those electric wheedles in there.
Which the build on this song is so subtle that it's not until literally this moment that I'm going back and thinking through it where I'm like, oh yeah, Martin actually does play on this song.
Yeah, right. There's strings in there. I can't tell if it's strings or synth when it's that in between after every line. It's like bum bum bum. I can't tell if it's strings or synth or both, or they go back and forth.
Yeah.
I don't know.
At that point, not sure. We
Yeah.
do have the piano. We do have John Evan coming in on the piano there,
Yep.
doing a peculiar rhythm, almost like a bit of a rumba or something.
Oh.
He's funny.
Circling out tomorrows.
He's a funny one.
He is. The flavors and the textures that he adds are never really one that you would anticipate, but they're always like, oh yeah, that does work.
Yeah, it's like walking.
I like that.
It's like walking through the English countryside, and suddenly there's a papaya.
What?
It's tasty.
I mean, it's good.
Don't know why it's here.
Probably shouldn't be here, but who am I to question?
Not gonna question it. So we have him, and then D's strings.
Yep.
Through the golden needle's eye.
And I honestly couldn't tell you where they come in because
No, I'd have to really put on headphones and think and listen. Yeah.
please don't do any of those things.
I try not to.
Not on this podcast.
Not on this.
But I didn't notice them until I was like, what is this incredible feeling? I didn't realize that the strings had come in until it was too late, until I was caught in their riptide. And I was just like,
We were several verses in by the time I realized, oh wait, there's strings in here. And I think they really come out near the end of the new verses. So before that breakdown that they do that leads into the key change, but it's probably like where I really noticed it was probably like
can we just have another listen to
Chasing Shadows. Yeah.
Chasing shadows slipping in the magic lantern slide.
We do have strings coming in
Yeah. It's gotta be like right around there.
in the Chasing Shadows Slipping line, but we don't have the full strings coming in until by the end of the dipping and weaving verse, after the line on a springtide high, the strings are really fully.
They're picking up and sweeping like we are accustomed to hearing from D at that point.
Yeah.
But they are in the back through a lot of those sweeps, and I think they're covered up mainly by the flute when we hear those kind of interspersals in between the lines after each line, you know.
Yeah. Another fun thing that John Evan does is this funny little piano roll. Where he plays a chord and he sort of I don't know how to describe it, but you know when you have your hands on the keys and you shift your hand back and forth, so you kind of go.
Yeah.
It's like a piano tremolo.
Yeah.
It's so funny. It's just such a delightful little playful note, which helps the song from getting too bogged down in seriousness, which it could. Without
I think so,
better care.
Because in terms of singing, it's really kind of just the same. He sings the same couple of notes through the whole thing.
Yeah, with the exception of Life's Too Long. Life's too long.
bridge, I guess that would be.
I think it's a bridge, yeah.
Oh, but then it goes back into the first verse after into the key change.
Life's too long for the levied window opened.
And also, like, I think that's testament, as everything else that he does, that's testament to John's ability that, like, if we just ask John to play this simple tune, he's gonna be so bored. It's like a kid acting out in class that, like, he knows the stuff. He can multiply in his head at this point, so that's why he's acting out. He's bored.
I wonder if he is, at this period, actually incapable of just playing something simple and straight.
Yeah.
That is that maybe Ian has developed the working relationship of him of being like, okay, just play this, knowing that he'll jazz it up and put some more fun into it.
I like that. Yeah, it's almost a reverse psychology. He knows the level of what he can ask for to get the level of output that he really wants.
Which that's what a great leader does.
Sure.
Is really knows the person that they are the leader of.
Yeah.
Really knows the team and knows how to get the performance out of them that is desirable to the mission.
The needs, right. Yeah. I mean, and I think that speaks a lot to what I brought up last week, I think, was this is the era of Jethro Tull. The band is a cohesive, really solid whole, as opposed to those later years where it's Ian Anderson and the Jethro Tull band, where, I mean, for a lot of reasons, but it just doesn't feel like there's that much contribution from the band here. Because, not here, I mean, at present day, mostly because, I mean, how prolific are they? How many new albums are they doing? They're really just going out on tour playing the classics.
And as we know, this album was still, we said a couple episodes ago, you read the Ian quote regarding how much input he really did ask for from the musicians, from the rest of the band in this album. And you can tell, I mean, it's just gorgeous.
So solid. I've said it before, I'll say it again, they're at their top here, and to have been able to see a show on this tour, or Stormwatch, or preferably Stormwatch, so you can get the pieces from all three of those. Like,
I'd say preferably this, so you could see John Glasscock.
Valid,
You can see John's Glasscock.
Yeah, old Brittle Dick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think I would sacrifice seeing the Stormwatch tour I would sacrifice seeing the trilogy to be able to see John Glasscock at work.
Yeah. Just to wrap up the musical aspect of this, the wrap up at the end, the little miniature breakdown, and then the
key change.
After the key change.
Oh, this is post key change.
Yeah, the very end of the song, the very abrupt ending.
Oh, yeah.
It's reminiscent of Jack and the Green, actually. The missile thrush is coming. Jack, turn up the light.
And Mouse Police, didn't that ended?
Well, that had the cough. That had the long.
Oh yes,
you're
right. Yeah. For opposite reasons, I don't think the missile thrush ate Jack here. I think the moth did what it was supposed to do.
Yeah, that's it. So now that we're moving into sort of the theme and the lyrics, is that for you the musical scoring of the moth bursting into flame as it hits the candle?
I think it's the culmination of this story, of this unending quest for a moth to be drawn to light.
So, all right, let's talk a little bit about moths.
Sure.
What's the deal with them flying into candles and light bulbs?
That's a good question.
I think I know. I think I have heard at least a theory of why they're attracted to light like that.
Well, let's be a little more scientific here. Moths are mostly nighttime creatures.
Mostly nighttime creatures, yes, absolutely. Yeah. And so they are very intensely guided or aware of lights, any unnatural lights. I believe what I have heard is that they kind of navigate by the moon, or they have some kind of a relationship with the moon.
Yeah, they recognize a bright enough source of light,
right,
and then use that as as a lodestar, I believe the term is, where you're basing everything off of that movement. Yeah.
And if you look at the flowers that moths typically pollinate, a lot of them are big white flowers,
Which will be lit up much better in moonlight.
or starlight or anything.
Yeah.
So a combustion flame, a flame of combustion, if you will,
I cast Flame of Combustion at second level.
will be so irresistible because it's 1,000 times more intense than the pale white moonlight.
Than the moon, right? Yeah, it is the new source of light.
They can't fight the moonlight.
That is a song, right?
Can't fight the moonlight.
You can try to resist, try to hide from my kiss, but you know that you can't fight the moonlight.
I think it was in Coyote Ugly.
I think you are correct.
Yes, that was a good film. Good? Well, no.
I mean, it was a film.
It was enjoyable. So, Nick.
Yeah, shall we do up the lyrics?
Yeah, what's the story here?
I think this is another instance of Mouse Police where Ian is sitting on his porch having a cup of tea before bed, and he's inspired by what he sees. And it is 3.5 minutes worth of watching this saga and telling the story of this moth, as opposed to like, yeah, I saw a moth fall into flame once, and like he uses that as just like a throwaway line almost.
I saw a moth today, oh boy.
The original lyrics, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think if we look at the specific words here, the leaded window opened. Now, why would it be a leaded window? Well, I'm glad you asked.
Because they probably had leaded windows in his
Exactly.
farmhouse. Yeah.
Yeah. The old style of glassmaking, lead was included in the windows for reasons I don't actually understand.
Yeah, that's curious. Because they included lead in everything.
Was it? Yeah. I don't know if that means that the lead was actually mixed in with the molten glass, or if it means that it's one of those like, almost like a mosaic of glass. Like stained glass, where the interstitial bits that hold the glass together are lead.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Ask my mom about this. Tune into our other podcast, Ask Omen's Mom About Stuff. But that indicates to me that the scene is set indoors, that the window opens and the breeze moves the candle flame. Or actually it says, but you moved the dancing candle flame. So
yeah.
Oh, the leaded window opened, but you moved the dancing candle flame.
It's almost as if, I opened the window to let this lovely spring breeze in. You were like, that candle's going to burn down the curtains. I'm going to move it over here. And the moths, attracted by the flame, came in through the window. What'd you find in there?
Lead glass, commonly called crystal, is a variety of glass in which lead replaces the calcium content of a typical potash glass. It is often desirable for a variety of uses due to its clarity.
Oh.
Yeah.
But it is also an older style of...
Yeah. It may actually also refer to a lead glaze on the glass.
Right. Yeah. So it's a specific... But, he's creating a specific image. And I do...
Oh, sure. He's in the old farmhouse.
He's in the old farmhouse.
Without a doubt, yeah.
So then we have this... There's a lot of breeze imagery here. The dancing candle flame, the new breeze chattered, sending water lilies sailing. It's the breeze is so strong. I just love that image. That's actually one of my favorite on the album.
It's very pretty, yeah.
And the new breeze chattered in its Maybach tenderness, sending water lilies sailing.
Well, it's the line in its Maybud tenderness. So it's late spring, early summer, where the wet weather is being pushed out by the hot warm, which is going to cause wind, which is going to cause when those two fronts hit.
It's a very science-heavy episode.
Yeah. We're secretly working in science, so your kids should be listening to this as well.
But also, the other thing that is in the budding phase at this point is his marriage.
Oh, yeah.
They're recently married. They just bought this house, just had a kid.
Just had James, yup.
And so I love the line as she turned to get undressed.
As she turned to get undressed.
There's almost a modesty. It's like when you're in a relationship where you are officially in the relationship, but there's still that sense of like, oh, I want to retain some sense of modesty, almost an awkwardness.
For those of you listening at home, Omen is covering all 3 of his nipples.
I feel I'm very modest.
Right. And this song is really nice because it works in. He's telling us about the moth. He's telling us about what's happening nature-wise, like with the breeze and the water lilies and everything. And he's also describing everything around himself. And he's saying, as you move the dancing candle flame. So it's a full picture here. It's not just like, oh, the moth flew in.
It's layers and layers of imagery and metaphors in a way that is really just delightful. As we get into the next line, as we get into the next verse, the next mini verse here, I think we really start to get into the theme of the song. The long night awakened and we soared on powdered wings, circling our tomorrows in the wary month of spring. Woof!
And the long night awakened, and we soared on powdered wings, circling our tomorrows in the weary month of spring.
So he's doing first person plural as he is counting himself or maybe his relationship as akin to this moth.
I think I think that we introduce the moth and then the moth becomes the metaphor. So now he and Shona are the moths, attracted fatally in a way by the flame of their own love.
And of course there's going to be timidity and danger, potential danger anyway, because of Jenny, his relationship with Jenny lasted only a couple of years.
That's right, the wary month of spring. In this early phase of spring, you know what can happen?
You could get eaten.
Yes. Yes.
Not what you were going for.
Not what I was going for, but true, yeah. Well, I'm thinking about the spring buds, in upstate New York. A spring bud can be frozen on the vine.
Right.
By a late frost.
Yeah, we had a very late cold snap. And we just started hitting 80s up here upstate. And we are recording on June 6th.
I had a ginger snap.
I had a late ginger snap last night.
I'm stuffed.
I was up all night.
And the thing that really is so beautiful, the line that really solidifies that kind of theory that we're talking about with this verse is the imagery of powdered wings. So for the non-entomologists in our listenership,
lepidopterists specifically.
Moths' scales, because they have scales for some reason, are basically like powder. Like they're not really attached. Like if you ever pick up a moth, you'll notice that there's that white powder on your fingers.
Right.
You've removed the scales from its wings.
Yeah.
Which means that the moth is basically screwed.
Yeah. If at all possible, never use your hands to pick up a moth or a butterfly.
Use a hammer.
Use a hammer. They crawl right onto it, and then you can set them free. Back to hell where they belong. Okay, there we go.
So the imagery of, the wings, it's almost like Icarus. The wings are so fragile, and yet they're able to soar on them. It's beautiful.
And that is another tale of going too close to light, going too close to flame.
Wow, I never thought about that.
Yeah.
Icarus and a moth.
Yeah.
Mothorus.
That's the name of my punk band in high school.
Mothorus?
No, Icarus and a moth.
Icarus.
But we had a song called
Icarus
Mothorus.
the Moth. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
It's good. So then we have dipping and weaving, fluttering through the golden needle's eye in our haystack madness. Butterflies stroking on a springtime high.
Dipping and weaving, fluttering through the golden needle's eye in our haystack madness. Butterflies floating on the springtime high. Oh, on the springtime high.
On a springtide high.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. Springtide high. Wow, so much to break down there. So we have the needle in the haystack.
Yep. Flutter through the golden needle's eye in our haystack madness. So this tells us that we have found the needle.
We found the needle in the haystack.
In the haystack.
Not only is it a needle, it is a golden needle.
It's a golden needle.
And we are flying through the eye of the needle.
Yeah.
That's really
So
3 metaphors rolled into one.
Probabilities very, very low, but we have achieved all of them.
Which, at that stage in the relationship, and also, I think when people are very in love, not to brag.
What's it like?
It's I've read it's amazing. No, my wife and I were talking about this last night. We were
Over your shared ginger snap?
we were like,
Is she your ginger snap?
stop it.
Okay.
She's not a ginger. But we were talking about just how unlikely it was that we met. All of the things that had to come into play.
Yeah.
She was like, she was like, this person. I was like, who's that? She was like, that's the person who is responsible for us meeting. Because that was the person who encouraged her to take rapier and dagger. And if she hadn't done that, then she wouldn't have gotten into this show.
Do you know what you could attribute that to?
Are you going to say the butterfly effect?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was panicked there for a second. Yeah, and then he says butterfly stroking, which is, I think, a swimming term?
Yeah, I think just the act of moving the butterfly stroke is, that would be like that. But also the act of flapping the wings looks like kind of stroking of the oars almost.
Sure.
Maybe.
Yeah, also...
A stroke of wings.
Yeah, a stroke of luck.
Yeah, a stroke of luck.
Also,
yeah.
Don't pet a butterfly.
Don't.
You'll ruin their wings, just like a moth. They have the same scales.
You have a hammer.
Yeah, stroke it with the hammer.
Gentle hammer strokes.
So I think that he's really expressing in this insanely layered, intricate, interwoven way his marveling at the fact that he ended up winning the relationship jackpot.
Yeah.
And, if we had any doubts, if we thought, this is, the sophomoric hopes of puppy love, they are still together.
That's true.
Almost 50 years later.
Yeah, 40 math later. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. It's clearly still a honeymoon period for them. It's clearly still kind of a sensitive moment that he is... I'm sure he was pretty distraught over breaking up with Jenny. So we've all had it when you get out of a crap relationship or just even a rough breakup of a relationship.
And you fear to hope.
Yeah, you don't want to feel that way again because of how it feels after the fact.
However, life's too long, as the lemmings said.
Life's too long, as the lemming said.
Which is apocryphal, but yes.
Right, but the meaning is clear.
Yeah.
Life's too short.
Yeah. Don't worry too much about it. Enjoy what you have.
Well, and we have this, again, another amazing metaphor. I do really love this song. I thought I was going to actually be annoyed by this song, and I'm finding that it's just so fascinating.
It's so gorgeous and so textured.
That in the first image of we opened a window and a moth flew into the candle,
right?
He takes that and then explodes that into all of these amazing metaphors.
It's the Big Bang, yeah.
Yeah. As the candle burned and the moths were wed, and will all burn together as the wick grows higher before the candle's dead.
As the candle burned and the moths were wet, and we'll all burn together as the wick grows higher before the candle's dead.
The metaphor of a candle as one's lifespan, which is not a new metaphor.
No, not at all.
But using it in this new context, that you only have the length of your candle.
Your respective candle, right. And everyone's candle is going to be different, yeah.
And it's going to burn out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Especially if you're burning the candle at both ends.
Which, honestly, at this point, Ian was,
Yeah, I know. My mom used to joke that the family crest was a candle, a double-ended candle cut in half and burning at all four ends.
That's amazing.
She never slept very much when I was a kid.
My goodness. As the moths were wed, so we've got multiple moths here. Ian sees the relationship as a moth. He and Shona are 2 moths. They are wed. They are come together, and they are burning their candles together. We'll all burn together.
Yes, exactly. And in this singular moment where he sort of is expressing this love and this relationship and this incredible luck that he's had, They both had. This is the line that I really enjoy from this song. The moths, suicidal, came to join in the worship of the light that never dies. Love.
The sun or love.
The sun or love, or the candle. Oh no, the candle dies. In the moment's reflection of two moths spinning in her eye.
To join in worship of the light that never dies. In the moment's reflection of two moths spinning in their eyes.
I just love the way that he was able to write the scene of, I was looking so deeply into my wife's eyes that I was able to see the reflection of some bugs that were flying around.
Yeah.
Like, it's so few words, and yet it extrapolates. It's like DNA.
Yeah.
Are you sure this isn't caffeinated?
It's not caffeinated, but it is laced with LSD. I want to go back real quick to, and we'll burn together as the wick grows higher.
Okay.
Generally, isn't your wick going to grow shorter, smaller as you burn it?
Well, I think that depending on the wick and the wax,
okay,
what sometimes happens is if you want a candle to burn long, you should trim the wick.
Right.
Keep your lamp trimmed and a burnin'. Keep your lamp trimmed and a burnin'. Keep your lamp trimmed and a burnin'. Waiting for the Lord to come. You know that song?
No.
Keep your lamp trimmed and a burnin'. Keep your lamp trimmed
Sounds like
and
an
a
old
burnin'.
gospel folky.
Yeah.
Happy your life, happy your life, happy your life. Ooh.
So you trim a wick to conserve the wax or the oil.
Right, because it produces the smallest amount of flame as opposed to a bigger
flame,
which will need more fuel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if a candle is left in a breeze and it gutters, and the wax runs down the side, the wick can grow.
Okay,
It can
okay.
expose more of the wick,
Sure.
making a bigger flame, which makes the candle burn even faster.
Okay.
So, I mean, for me, I think that it's like the hesitancy that we saw in the early verse maybe is like a hesitancy to a fear of becoming consumed by this love that they don't want to burn out. As the friar tells Romeo, love moderately, long love doth so. So, because Romeo's coming in and he's like, friar, I'm in love, oh my God, it's amazing. And the friar's like, whoa.
Put this bucket of ice down your pants.
Don't burn yourself out.
Okay.
The candle that burns brightest burns shortest.
Oh, love moderately, because that's what long love does.
That's what long love
Gotcha,
does.
yeah.
And of course he's right, because they burn out not only themselves, but they're the whole the whole city around them.
Yeah.
So I mean, I wonder if that is what that is a reference to. I mean, it goes back to the moth. It's like, don't go so close to the light, or you'll burn up.
Yeah,
I wonder
right,
if there's that, if he's having that moment of like, oh my God, I'm so in love with this woman, I'm gonna
I just want to let go. Yeah.
I'm gonna explode.
Yeah. As the wick, so maybe as the love grows and the passion grows, the lack of care almost grows in junction.
The desire to, I mean, it's like, it's so easy to move from love to attachment. And love is saying, I want you to be happy, and attachment is saying, I want you to make me happy.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. I mean,
it can go This stage of love can go in so many different ways.
It is the tender Maytime bud,
Yeah.
which can flower into a beautiful flower, or it
skunk cabbage.
or yeah, it can get frozen,
Or it can get frozen, yeah.
or it can get burned.
Mhm.
So it's like it's a tender moment.
Yeah, it can do its purpose and produce fruit, or be basically a waste of energy for the tree in the long run, or the flower.
I was literally prepared to talk about how this was a simple song.
Yes. Yes, that's the sound of victory.
This is why you love this song. This was a trap.
Just to prove you, I went through the entire list when we were 14. No, when
You
we were
tricked
like
me to come up
16.
here.
When we were 16, I went through the list of every Tull song, found the one that you were kind of like mediocre about, and
I think
developed reasons to love it.
I think that I
Just so 21 years later, I could throw it in your face.
I think that I've always liked this song, but I think at a certain point, maybe I started to see it as like juvenile. Like it was like, oh yeah, you're so in love, you're like a moth drawn to the flame.
I see how this could be one of those songs, and Tull has its fair share where you can turn off and stop processing this song.
But as we look at the poetry,
It's so
this is
poetic,
some of the
yeah.
most rich metaphor and poetry.
Hands thrown into the air, waggling like a muppet.
Flailing Muppet hands is how I feel about this
That's it.
song.
This song gets 2 flailing Muppet hands. That's the rating system.
Yes. The moment's reflection of 2 flailing Muppet hands reflected in her eye.
That's
Gonzo, get out of here. I've seen too much. Ooh. I don't know what Muppet that was.
Mickey Mouse, actually.
That was Mickey Mouse.
Oh, Minnie, your eyes, they're beautiful.
Have you seen the new Mickey cartoons?
The ones that are like that really rough animation.
Yeah.
I wish Rook watched them because I laugh so hard.
Why doesn't he
at
watch
those.
them?
He just doesn't like them. He gets bored. I laugh so
You need a new
hard
child.
at those. I've tried to return
I
this
love.
one.
It takes a lot to make me laugh.
Yeah. I've been trying for 21 years.
I laugh until I cry.
They're so
Every
good.
single one of them.
Because it's our generation making Mickey Mouse cartoons now.
Well, and they've gone back to like, they've like released themselves from the 90s, like, Goofy's having an internal moment of crisis, and he's thinking about parent. No. They go up a mountain, they fall down. But in a brilliant way.
Yeah, the animation is so
You should talk
So
to Katie about it. 'Cause
raw.
She's into him. Okay.
Yeah. Anything
Nick.
else
How dare you?
about moths, Omen?
Anything else about moths? Well, without them, we would have a pollinating crisis. They are responsible for a lot of pollination.
Sure. Particularly flowers that are open in the evening.
Evening flowers.
Yeah.
Also fruits.
Mm.
Some of them pupate into their final form without mouths or anuses because they do not eat. They only exist in that form to mate and die.
That's actually a little known fact about Ian Anderson. No mouth.
No mouth, no anus.
No anus. How he plays the flute without either of those? I don't know.
He's got a bagpipe mouth system where he pedals the air with his
a billows.
Yes. He's only here to mate, breed salmon, release Tull albums, and die.
That's
Which, I mean, what else is there?
What else is there?
Oh well, no, eating.
I mean, I
We're here to eat, mate. Well, and I think that the thesis of the song is, my takeaway from the song right now in this moment is, what do you want to do with the wax that you have?
Do you want to share that time with another moth or not? Do you know the woolly bear, the caterpillar that's black and brown?
Yeah.
That's a moth. It's like a gray moth that matches perfectly with
Tree bark?
Oak trees.
Oh, sure.
Bark, I think so. Yeah, we have them all the time up here in the autumn. I don't know where else they are.
In Weedsport, did they have the, maybe this was just a Mexico, New York thing, but the old farmer's almanac tale of like, if you see a woolly bear, because the black stripe is always in the middle.
Yeah.
If the black stripe is really, or the,
it's the brown. No, it's the brown in the middle. Yeah.
The brown is always in the middle, and if the brown is super short, it's going to be a really cold winter, and if it's longer, it's going to be a milder winter.
Yeah. Just absolute bananas.
Just nonsense. But, there was no internet back then.
That's right. It was just MySpace, so.
Well, that's Moths.
That's Moths.
Coming to you in the same space, in the Feckless Momes Alpha Studio.
I have a moth story for you. Raven made popcorn today, and she put butter in a little bowl in the microwave to melt it.
I hate where this is
going.
going.
And when she opened it up, there was a little moth on the top of the butter. The moth must have gotten into the microwave, not via the butter. Did not survive the microwaving.
Terrifying.
And chose to land in the bowl of butter.
Drawn like a moth to butter. That's what they say.
It's a common phrase. Yeah, Ray took a spoon, scooped it out. Like, Ray's very particular about stuff in her food, but when it comes to butter, apparently anything could be in there.
I think I drank a bug in my coffee this morning.
Fiber. That's just fiber. That's good. Protein.
We'll talk. Next week, what are we listening to, Nick?
That's going to be the final track off of side A, Journeyman.
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 Herschel
Journeyman.
I love Journeyman.
I know you do. I know you like. But those Journeyman and Lullaby feel like two really strong songs for you. That you. I feel like those are two of your favorites.
Did we already talk about Rover?
No, we haven't gotten to Rover.
I like
yet.
that one too.
Yeah, you like a lot of the ones that I'm not particularly fond of on this album. It's very peculiar.
Jack Sprat would eat no fat, his wife would eat no lean, and so between the two of them, they picked the clatter clean.
That's it.
Platter.
We picked that clatter so clean.
Until next week, please, you may find yourself irresistibly drawn to not one candle, but 5 stars.
Don't fight it.
Burning in the sky.
Don't fight it.
Don't fight the starlight. Give them to us. We will protect you from them. We'll keep them safe.
In the form of a rating
and a review. Please subscribe to our Patreon at the $1 you get nothing but a good feeling amount, or the $5 you get access to exclusive content, including the absolutely blowing up, fun, electrifying discussion
Discord.
For
the record, I've just added a food channel so we can put in pictures of food because we've got a lot of cookers.
Indeed.
We're talking about a lot of random stuff in the Discord, and I love it. It's a great community, and it's
it's
awesome.
a wonderful community. Join us.
And for the record, we greatly appreciate it. If you can just do $1 a month, we genuinely do appreciate that.
And if you can't, we still appreciate you listening.
Absolutely.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening to Jethro Tull.
I am a co-host, impossibly drawn to a microphone, Nick McGill.
I am doing my best to pollinate everything that I see. Omen Sade.
We are the shy and cautious lovers, Feckless Momes.
And this is the absolutely flaming candle. Talk Tull to me.
I cannot wait to become a pupa.
Oh my god, I didn't hear what you said because I was chewing, my mouth was full of leaf.
Oh, you must be a very hungry caterpillar.
I'm so hungry all the time.
Such a hungry caterpillar.
Oh my god, did you see that Fluffy Bear James, he made his cocoon already?
No, did he pupate?
He pupated!
Early bloomer.
Oh!
I can't wait. I'm gonna get hair in funny places and wigs in probably normal places.
I keep moving my butt to see if silk will come out.
Did it work? Does it work?
No, but it feels good.
Does anything come out?
Sometimes I poop.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Are you going to be a butterfly or are you going to be a moth?
I was thinking I've always wanted to go into politics, so I was thinking about being a a purple emperor butterfly.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, what about you?
Well, my mom says that I'm a very special butterfly, but both of my parents are moths, so I, unless the milk butterfly visited about two months ago, maybe I'm just gonna be a moth.
My parents were eaten by a lizard.
Oh, did you even know your parents, or you just came out of your egg? You're like, dude, I'm gonna eat this leaf.
That
And you don't care about your parents.
That's the second
You
one.
come from a broken home.
It's in my dreams, though. I'm haunted by nightmares about the demise of my parents. Oh God! I keep trying to fill the void with this leaf.
Eat this milkweed. Eat this milkweed.
You know what the last thing is that they maybe said to me when I was an egg and they were laying me on the underside of this milkweed plant?
Maybe what is it that they possibly could have said?
They were probably like, "Oh, little egg, if only you knew that Doc told me was a proud member of the Feckless Moths Audio Network."
Oh God! Now I'm sad.
Oh, my butt!